And so I poured enough milk to where I spread it out evenly among them. And so they understood that. Now, Christian and Christopher had already eaten. But when Kyron finally got dressed, he came to the table to eat. And so I went ahead and closed the door and went ahead and got dressed. Now, as I'm getting dressed, I begin to hear some squealing and some screaming. So I go out to find out what's going on. And Kyron had spilled his milk by knocking it over on the table. And so he's upset, and he said, "Daddy, I spilled my milk." And he's crying, and he's bawling. I say, "It's okay, Kyron." And he said, "But I didn't get a chance to drink any of it." And I say, "Well, Kyron, you can't change the fact that the milk has already spilled. It's already spilled, so just go ahead and finish eating, and I'll get you some juice or something else." And so he's there crying, and so he goes ahead and sit down, and he eats. Now, he's eating, but he's crying at the same time. Watch this. He's eating his delicious breakfast, but he's crying because he spilled his milk. Now I go in, I get dressed, I come back out, and I see that the milk is still laying on the table, still sitting in the chair, still sitting on the floor. And so I go and get Kyron. I said, "Kyron, why did you not clean the milk up?" He said, "Daddy, I wasted my milk." Now he has enjoyed his meal. He has his belly full, but he's still upset because he didn't get a chance to drink his milk. I see tears falling from his eyes. I said, "Kyron, it's over with now, son. Don't worry about it." He said, "But I didn't get a chance to drink any of it, Daddy. I didn't even get a chance to drink one drop." And so I said, "Kyron," I told him again, I say, "It's over with now. You can't change the fact that it's spilled. Now the only thing we can do is clean it up." He said, "Okay." He said, "But I need help cleaning it up." I said, "Okay, son, I'll help you clean it up." Because I understood that if the milk stayed there, he would still be crying and upset because the milk had been spilled, and would not understand that there is more milk available if he just is patient, if he is just patient. And so now I come along and I help him. I say, "Get you some paper towels." I'll go get a towel, and I went and got some cleanser. And so I begin to spray the cleanser. I say, "So now you take the paper towel and clean that up, and I'll clean this up on the floor and on the seat." And so by the time I finished wiping it up, and he finished wiping it up, his tears were all gone. He felt like a big boy now because he was able to clean the milk up. But as long as he was upset about the milk being spilled, he was still in his funk, still in his attitude, and was about to have a bad day because he was still upset about the spilled milk. And so I came here to tell you today, stop crying over spilled milk. You can't change what happened yesterday, but you can change it today to make your tomorrow better. Because, and I understand for some of you, it is so bad in Freedomville that you can't clean it up yourself. But you have a Father who is able to help you clean up the mess that you made. And see, some of you are just like Kyron. God is blessing you today, but you are still upset over the stuff you did in your past, that you can't even enjoy what God has laid before you, because God's blessings are not dictated upon what you did yesterday. God's blessings are based upon how he saw you in eternity. And in eternity, he saw you as righteous. In eternity, he saw you as holy. That you can enjoy the blessing that he has for you today because you're still crying over spilled milk. I wish somebody would turn to their neighbor and say, "Stop crying over spilled milk." Hey, oh, somebody clap your hands and give God some praise. Oh, wow. So if we're going to come out of freedom into kingdom, what we need to understand is that we can't change our yesterday. Second thing we need to understand, I got about 13 more minutes. Second thing we need to understand is that we are not what we did. Somebody say, "You are not what you did." Turn to your neighbor and say, "You are not what you did." Watch this. Colossians 3:3. Watch this. Colossians 3:3 says, "For ye are dead, and your life is the tables and strip in front of people that you didn't hardly know. Yes, I know that you used to be a video vixen unbeknownst to everybody else and showing your body off. Yes, I know that you were one of the culprits of rape. Yes, I know that you engaged in sexual behavior that is shameful. Yes, I know that you had so many sexual partners that you can't even count them on both hands and both feet. Yes, I know that you committed adultery. Yes, I know that you committed homosexuality. Yes, I know that you engaged in orgies and lesbianism. Yes, I understand all of that. But let me let you know something. Because you are in Christ now, you are not what you did. Because my Bible tells me that if any man be in Christ, he is a new creature. All things are passed away, and all things are become new. That means you are fresh and original creation. So you are not the same thing that you were born into the world as. You are not what you were conditioned to be. You are a brand new creation.
Yes.
And so the enemy will stand before God to accuse you and say, look at them. They just nasty. Do you know what they think about? Do you know that they're thinking about Sister Duty Mac on the first row? Do you know that last night they were banging the headboard? Do you know that last night they were listening to Lil Freak and being somebody Lil Freak? Do you know that last night they were doing all this? But God said, look, I'm not concerned about that because Jesus has become your righteousness, wisdom and sanctification. That means that you are now the righteousness of God in Christ Jesus. So when the devil comes to you and say, look at you, little nasty freak, tell him that I am not nobody's freak. I may have acted like a freak, but I'm not a freak. I may have engaged in homosexuality, but I'm not a homosexual. I may have engaged in oral sex, but I'm not a bopper. I may have sold my body for money, but I'm not a hoe. No, because my Bible says that I am the righteousness of God in Christ Jesus. So that means I'm a child of the Most High. So if we're going to come out of freedom and go into the kingdom, I have to understand that I can't change my yesterday. I have to understand that I'm not what I did. And then, watch this, I have to be willing to expose the problem. Look at verse 9 of chapter 3. Verse 9 of chapter 3 says, lie not one to another. See, Christians have perfected hypocrisy.
That's real.
We have perfected hypocrisy. And the reason a lot of folk don't want to get saved is because we'll come in church and shout like we have been saved all of our life. Like we were born with a prayer cloth across our lap. Like we were born with a choir robe on. And we were born singing praises to God. But if the truth be told, we were just as nasty or nastier than some of them. As a matter of fact, some of them are living better than we're living. And we come up in church and act like we got everything together. But if you really tell the truth and say, man, I can't even lie to you. Last night, man, I was on there kicking with that girl, man. I went over there, and boy, oh Lord, I ain't never had nothing like that in my life. Is she the best I ever had? But down up in church, and I really need forgiveness, but I got a problem, and I need to be changed. I'm telling you, I know you think that I have it all together, but really I'm dealing with masturbation myself. If we just be honest with people, I'm dealing with masturbation myself, and I don't know how to stop it, and I need answers for myself. If we really be honest with people and tell them, you know what, I wrestle with those tendencies in my mind myself. If we really be honest with people,